Station Commander Vex Thule, the human just threw Khor'vax the Destroyer off Platform 7. The words crackled through Vex Thule's neural implant with such urgency that his secondary respiratory system kicked in automatically, a biological response his species reserved for imminent extinction events. Security Officer Azila's voice carried the kind of panic that preceded planetary evacuations. "Repeat that," Vex Thule said, his manipulator tendrils already pulling up security feeds across his command console. "You said Khor'vax the Destroyer." "Yes, sir. Khor'vax vs. Drenthal, apex champion of the Drenthal warrior caste, victor of 473 honor duels, bearer of—" "I know who he is, Azila." Vex Thule's optical sensors were already processing the impossible data streaming from Platform 7. "Your feeds must be malfunctioning." "Negative, Commander. I've run full diagnostics 3 times. The human, cargo handler Emma Johnson, shift designation 7 Alpha, physically lifted Khor'vax and threw him over the platform edge." Vex Thule felt his chromatic display flush involuntary distress colors. Platform 7 sat 200 feet above the lower cargo deck. The Drenthal were 8-foot armored behemoths whose bone density made them essentially biological tanks. Their species had dominated physical conflicts across 12 sectors for 10,000 years. The laws of physics didn't allow for Khor'vax the Destroyer to be moved by anything short of industrial machinery, let alone thrown. Physiological damage to Khor'vax? Vex Thule was already initiating emergency protocols, his command tendrils flying across multiple interfaces. "Scanners show he's uninjured, sir. Shocked, but uninjured. He's climbing back up the maintenance ladder right now." "And the human?" According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, standing at the platform edge asking if someone can help her finish moving the cargo containers. Vex Thule's chromatic display went completely white, the Zentari equivalent of a system crash. He pulled up the security footage, watching the scene unfold in real time. Emma Johnson, the human, stood near a stack of cargo containers in her standard-issue work coveralls and gloves. She was small by galactic standards, maybe 5.5 feet tall, with brown hair pulled back in what humans called a ponytail. She looked ordinary, unremarkable, completely normal, except that 200 feet below, Khor'vax the Destroyer was climbing back up toward the platform with murder in all 4 of his eyes. Around Emma, every other species on Platform 7 had backed away, creating a wide circle of empty space. A Vrexian dock supervisor had actually climbed onto a cargo container to get further away. 2 Kelly's transport pilots were edging toward the emergency exits. The usual busy chaos of the cargo platform had frozen into a tableau of collective terror. Emma seemed confused by this reaction. She had one hand on her hip and was checking something on her wrist-mounted work tablet with the other. "Commander," Azila's voice dropped to a whisper, "what are your orders?" The human appears unaware that she's just committed what the Drenthal consider an unforgivable act of aggression. Khor'vax will demand blood satisfaction. If he attacks her and she does that again, we could have a full diplomatic incident. The Drenthal delegation is already transmitting emergency signals to their homeworld. Vex Thule watched as Emma looked up from her tablet, noticed everyone staring at her, and shrugged in that peculiar human gesture of confusion. She called out something. The audio feed translated it as, "Does anyone want to help with these containers? I've got 6 more hours on shift, and I'm already behind schedule." "Initiate code Crimson," Vex Thule ordered, his command tendrils moving faster than they had since the Kelly's Plague outbreak 3 years ago. "Lock down Platform 7. Divert all incoming traffic. I want every available security officer on scene, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is to approach the human until I arrive. Contact the Galactic Physical Standards Bureau. Tell them we have a Class X impossible event and need their best analysts on station within the hour." "Class X, Commander? Are you certain?" "Azila, in my 40 years of station command, I have never witnessed something that violated fundamental physical laws. Until today." Vexithul was already moving toward the emergency transport tubes. The human just treated an apex predator like a piece of luggage. Either our entire understanding of physics is wrong, or humans are far more dangerous than anyone realized. Sir, Khor'vax has reached the platform. He's approaching the human. Orders? Vexthul watched his screen as the massive Drenthal warrior pulled himself onto Platform 7, his armored carapace gleaming under the station lights, his 4 arms flexing with barely contained rage. Emma turned toward him, still looking confused. Pray to whatever deities you believe in, Vexthul said, that the human doesn't do it again. By the time Vexthul arrived at Platform 7 with his full security detail, the situation had somehow gotten worse. Emma Johnson was sitting on a cargo container, drinking from what humans called a coffee thermos, while Khor'vax the Destroyer stood 15 feet away, his entire body rigid with rage. Between them, Azila had positioned herself with all her security equipment active, energy shields, stun weapons, the works, looking like she was trying to prevent a small war. Okay, seriously, what's the big deal? Emma was saying as Vexthul approached. He shoved me out of the way first. I was just trying to do my job. The big deal, Khor'vax rumbled, his voice carrying the subharmonics that made his species such effective battlefield commanders, is that you laid hands on a Drenthal apex warrior. This is an unforgivable insult. You will face me in combat trial, or you will be declared honorless. Pray! Emma blinked at him, took another sip of her coffee. Dude, I'm on the clock. Can we maybe do this during my lunch break or something? Vexthul watched Khor'vax's chromatic battle plate shift through 3 different rage colors. The warrior's 4 arms were trembling with the effort of not immediately attacking. Commander Vexthul, Khor'vax turned his massive head toward the station commander. I invoke combat trial rights under Treaty Section 7, Subsection 12. This human has offered me blood insult. Honor demands satisfaction. Emma Johnson, Vexithul said carefully, keeping his voice as calm as possible. Do you understand what you did? Emma slid off the cargo container, landing with a casual hop that made every non-human present flinch. I moved a guy who was in my way. Look, I've got 16 containers to relocate before end of shift. He was blocking the loader path. I asked him to move. He told me to, she checked her translator, scurry away like prey, and then he shoved me into the wall. So I picked him up and moved him myself. How is this complicated? You can't just pick up a Drenthal warrior, Azila said, her security scanner still trained on Emma. It's physically impossible. Their bone density is 40 times human baseline. Their muscle fiber compression exceeds anything in known biology. They're living weapons. Yeah, he was pretty solid, Emma agreed, rubbing her shoulder. Heavy, too, like moving a really dense refrigerator, but it's not like he was bolted down or anything. Vexthul pulled up the physiological data on his command tablet, showing it to Emma. These are your scans from your station employment physical. Your bone density is normal for Earth-standard humans. Your muscle mass is unremarkable. According to every physical law we understand, you should not have been able to budge Khor'vax, let alone lift him. Emma squinted at the data. Okay, but I did lift him, so maybe your laws are wrong. Physics doesn't work that way, Azila practically shrieked. Apparently it does, though, Emma said, gesturing at the still furious Khor'vax, because he's right there, and I definitely threw him off the platform, which, sorry about that, by the way. I wasn't trying to hurt you, I just needed you to not be standing there anymore. Khor'vax made a sound like grinding metal. You held back. You dare claim you showed restraint when moving me? Well, yeah, Emma said, looking uncomfortable. I mean, I was just moving you out of the way, not trying to actually hurt you. If I'd wanted to hurt you, I would have... She trailed off, noticing everyone staring at her with expressions of horror. What? Vexthul was running calculations on his tablet. Emma, the force required to lift Khor'vax and throw him 200 feet would require approximately... He stopped, reran the numbers. This can't be right. According to the leverage angles captured on security footage, you would have needed to generate force equivalent to a Class 7 hydraulic loader, but you did it with your arms, your normal, Biological arms. I work out, Emma offered weakly. I'm contacting the Galactic Physical Standards Bureau, Vex Thul said, his command tendrils moving rapidly. We need xenobiologists, physicists, and— Enough! Khor'vax's battle roar silenced everyone. I care not for your science and your scanners. The human has insulted my honor. Combat trial, now, or I will take satisfaction regardless of your station rules. Emma sighed deeply. Fine, fine. But can we make this quick? I'm already behind schedule and my supervisor is gonna be pissed. Quick? Khor'vax bared his teeth, which numbered approximately 64 and were each designed to puncture heavy armor. I am Apex Predator. Combat trial will end when I decide it ends. Yeah, okay, scary teeth, got it, Emma said, putting down her coffee thermos and pulling off her work gloves. Where do you want to do this? Not near the containers, though. I'm not filling out the damage paperwork if you crash into something. Vex Thul watched this exchange with growing dread. He was about to witness either the death of a human or the complete collapse of 10,000 years of Drenthal martial supremacy. Either way, the galaxy was about to change. Combat Area Delta, he ordered Azila. Activate all safety barriers, evacuate non-essential personnel, and get medical standing by. For the human? Azila asked. Vex Thul watched Emma do casual stretches while Khor'vax activated his full battle armor. For everyone, he said quietly. For everyone. Combat Area Delta had been designed for Drenthal honor duels, which meant it was essentially a reinforced arena capable of withstanding tactical explosives. Vexithul had ordered the spectator barriers activated, not to protect the audience from normal combat, but because he had no idea what was about to happen. Word had spread. The observation deck was packed with representatives from every species on the station. The betting systems had actually crashed, trying to establish odds on a human versus an apex predator. Emma stood in the center of the arena, still wearing her cargo handler coveralls, rolling her shoulders like she was warming up for gym class. So how does this work? Like, are there rules, or is this a figure-it-out-as-we-go situation? Across from her, Khor'vax had deployed his full battle armor, natural carapace plates that extended from his body like interlocking shields. His four arms were positioned in the Drenthal Devastator stance, a combat form that had been perfected over millennia. The rules, Khor'vax growled, are simple. Combat continues until one warrior yields, is incapacitated, or dies. Cool, Emma said. Just to be clear, I'd prefer if nobody died. This is already gonna be a nightmare to explain to HR. From the command station, Vex Thul watched his tactical displays light up with incoming transmissions. The Galactic Physical Standards Bureau had dispatched their crisis team. Combat analysts from 6 different species wanted live feeds, and his superior officer on the council station was demanding an immediate report. He ignored them all, focusing on the arena. Begin! Azila's voice echoed through the space. Khor'vax launched forward with the famous Drenthal Devastator Rush, a charging attack that had shattered fortified positions and broken enemy lines for 10,000 years. His 800 pounds of armored muscle accelerated with shocking speed. Emma sidestepped, just stepped aside, like she was avoiding a puddle in a hallway. Khor'vax thundered past her, his momentum carrying him into the far wall with a crash that dented the reinforced barrier. Dude, seriously? Emma called out. You're gonna hurt yourself running into walls like that. The observation deck erupted in confused chittering and clicks. Vex Thul checked his readings. Emma's reaction time had been impossible. She'd moved faster than Khor'vax, who was enhanced by tens of thousands of years of predator evolution. Khor'vax spun, his four arms extending. He launched into a complex attack pattern. The Drenthal called it the whirlwind of ending. It was a martial technique that had never been successfully defended against by any species. Emma ducked under the first arm, stepped inside the second's range, and stuck out her foot. Khor'vax, apex predator and terror of the battlefield, tripped over it. He crashed face first into the arena floor with a boom that rattled the observation deck. "Oh my God," Emma said, genuine concern in her voice. "Are you okay? I didn't mean, look, this is really not fair. I took wrestling in high school. My brother taught me this stuff." Khor'vax pushed himself up, and Vexthul saw something he'd never witnessed in a Drenthol warrior: uncertainty. Khor'vax was recalculating, reassessing. His species had faced thousands of enemies across countless worlds, but nothing in his evolutionary history had prepared him for this. "What are you?" Khor'vax demanded. "I'm a cargo handler," Emma said, confused. "From Iowa." "I mean, technically I'm from Des Moines, but nobody knows where that is, so I just say Iowa." Khor'vax charged again, this time with more caution. He feinted left, struck right, used his superior reach and mass. It was textbook apex predator combat, using every advantage of his species' evolution. Emma caught his striking arm, used his own momentum to spin him around, and put him in what she called a half Nelson. "Okay, so you're really strong," Emma said conversationally, while holding an 8-foot warrior in a wrestling hold. "But you're kind of, how do I put this nicely? You're really bad at leverage, like you keep trying to overpower everything instead of using your opponent's weight against them." From the observation deck, Vexthul heard someone, he thought it was the Vrexian ambassador, make a sound like escaping gas. Someone else was praying in 3 different languages simultaneously. On his tactical display, the emergency transmission from the Galactic Physical Standards Bureau was marked critical. He opened it. "Commander Vexthul, this is Senior Analyst Grixnal. We've reviewed your footage. This is impossible. The human's movements violate fundamental principles of biology and physics. Her reaction time exceeds sensor capability. Her strength-to-mass ratio doesn't exist in nature." "What's her planet of origin?" "We need complete environmental data immediately." Vexthul pulled up Emma's employment file. "Planet designated Earth, Terran system. Let me send you the environmental specs." He stopped. Read the numbers again, felt his chromatic display go pale. "Commander," Grixnal prompted. "What is it?" "The gravity," Vexthul said slowly. "Earth's gravity it's 3 times galactic standard. Their atmosphere is corrosive, high oxygen content. Their star's radiation would be considered dangerous to most species. And they call it a garden world. They think it's pleasant." The transmission went silent. In the arena, Emma had released Khor'vax, who was now circling her more carefully. He lunged again. Emma sidestepped, grabbed one of his arms, and using some technique Vexthul couldn't even follow, somehow used Khor'vax's own body weight to flip him completely over. The apex predator landed flat on his back with a sound like a small explosion. Emma stood over him, not even breathing hard, checking her work tablet with one hand. "Seriously," she said, "I'm gonna be late for my next shift if we don't wrap this up soon. Can we maybe call it a draw?" Khor'vax lay on his back, all 4 arms spread out, staring at the ceiling. Vexthul recognized the expression. He'd seen it before, during the Kelly's plague, on the faces of doctors who realized their entire medical knowledge was useless. It was the look of someone whose fundamental understanding of reality had just shattered. "Halt combat," Vexthul ordered, his voice echoing through the arena. "By emergency authority, I'm invoking Incident Protocol 01. This trial is suspended pending xenobiological review." Emma looked relieved. "Oh, thank God. Does this mean I can get back to work?" "No," Vexthul said quietly, watching his entire worldview crumble. "No, this means we need to completely rewrite the rules." The emergency council chamber was standing room only. Representatives from every major species on the station had assembled, along with the hastily arrived crisis team from the Galactic Physical Standards Bureau. Khor'vax sat in the Drenthol delegation section, still looking shell-shocked. His battle armor had retracted, but his dignity would take longer to recover. Emma Johnson sat in the center of the chamber in a chair that had been hastily requisitioned from the human quarters. Apparently, standard galactic seating couldn't support her weight comfortably. She was eating a sandwich. "This is fascinating," Senior Analyst Grixnal was saying, his tentacles waving animatedly over holographic displays. "Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. Galactic standard is 3.2. This means that every single day, just existing on Earth, humans are performing what we would consider extreme conditioning. Their bones, their muscles, their cardiovascular systems all evolved to function under crushing force. Wait, Emma said around a mouthful of sandwich. You guys have lighter gravity? Like, significantly lighter? 90% of sapient species evolved on worlds with gravity between 2.8 and 4.1 meters per second squared, Grixnall explained. Your homeworld is classified as a high-gravity death world. Emma lowered her sandwich. I'm sorry, did you just call Earth a death world? The terminology is standard, Vexthul said from his command position. Planets with environmental factors hostile to most galactic life. But Earth is nice, Emma protested. We have beaches and forests and, really good pizza. Your atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, Azila read from her report. Most species would suffer oxygen toxicity at those levels. Your solar radiation would cause cellular damage to 73% of known sapients. Your planetary biodiversity includes hundreds of species that produce deadly toxins, plus megafauna that could prey on most spacefaring civilizations. We call them bears, Emma said weakly. Children learn about them in school. Your children learn about apex predators? Achilles' delegate squeaked. I mean, yeah, bear safety is pretty basic. Bear safety? Grixnall pulled up more data. Emma, when you lightly shoved Khor'vax, you generated approximately 4,200 newtons of force. For context, that's equivalent to our standard cargo loader hydraulics. You did it casually, while annoyed, without thinking about it. Emma had gone very pale. Oh my God, have I been hurting people when I shake hands or pat someone on the shoulder or... The station medical bay has treated 47 cases of human-related injuries in the past year, Vexthul said carefully. We attributed it to cultural misunderstandings. We didn't realize humans are walking weapons, Khor'vax spoke up for the first time, his voice subdued. On my homeworld, I am Apex. I am the hunter, the warrior, the strongest of my generation. But on Earth... He looked at Emma with something that might have been awe. On Earth, I would be prey. That's not true, Emma protested. Humans aren't that strong. I'm like the least athletic person in my family. My sister does CrossFit. The entire chamber recoiled. Your sister is stronger than you? Vexthul felt faint. And my brother is a Marine. He can do 100 push-ups without stopping. I can barely do 20. 20 push-ups. Grixnall said slowly. In Earth gravity, supporting your full body weight would be considered an Olympic-level feat for most species. Emma put her head in her hands. I've been walking around treating everyone like they're normal. Oh God, that handshake I gave the Vrexian ambassador last week. I thought he was just being dramatic when he went to medical. You fractured 3 of his manipulator bones, Azila confirmed. I'm so sorry, Emma said, genuine distress in her voice. I didn't know. Khor'vax rose from his seat, his 4 arms moving in a formal Drenthal gesture that Vexthul recognized as deep respect. Emma Johnson, I challenged you to combat trial believing you had disrespected me. I now understand you showed great restraint. When you threw me from the platform, you could have broken me. When you defeated me in combat, you could have crushed me. You did neither. By Drenthal standards, this is warrior's mercy. Emma looked up, surprised. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was just doing my job. I know, Khor'vax said. And that is why you terrify me. Vexthul pulled up his station command interface. We need new protocols. Immediately. Emma, I'm assigning you additional duties as human cultural liaison. You'll help us develop safety guidelines for human-alien interaction, with a substantial pay increase, of course. I get a raise for almost killing people, Emma said. You get a raise for not killing people despite being physically capable of it, Vexthul corrected. There's a difference. The council chamber buzzed with activity as species representatives began coordinating their responses. This would have to go to the Galactic Council. Every ship, every station, every diplomatic venue would need to be updated. Earth had just changed from a minor backwater planet to a death world that produced walking biological weapons. And they thought it was nice there. 3 weeks later, Platform 7 had been transformed. New warning signs in 47 languages dotted the area. Caution, human interaction zone, maintain safe distance, report injuries immediately. Emma stood in the center of what was now officially called the Human Integration Training Area, surrounded by a nervous group of station personnel from various species. She held a clipboard, one specially reinforced because she'd accidentally crushed 3 normal ones. "Okay," Emma said, trying to sound reassuring. "Today, we're covering basic human physical interaction. This is what we call a light touch." She reached out and gently tapped a practice dummy. It toppled over. The Vrexian trainee made a strangled sound and moved behind a barrier. "That was light?" Azila asked, taking notes on her scanner. "Yeah, that's like," Emma demonstrated in the air, "barely any pressure at all. That's how you might tap someone to get their attention." "The dummy is designed to withstand Category 4 impact events," Grixnall said, examining it with his tentacles. "You just disabled it with a tap." "This is harder than I thought," Emma admitted. "Okay, next. Demonstration. This is normal walking pace for humans." She walked across the training area at what she considered a casual stroll. The assembled personnel had to jog to keep up. The Kelly's delegate was actively running. "You move like you're being pursued by predators," Khor'vax observed. He'd become a regular fixture at these training sessions, apparently fascinated by human capabilities in a way that bordered on obsessive. "We call it power walking," Emma said. "My mom does it for exercise." "Your mother performs pursuit-level movement patterns for recreation?" "She's actually pretty slow. My dad runs marathons." The sound of several species experiencing existential dread filled the training area. Commander Vexithol entered, accompanied by an official-looking delegation. "Emma, I have your updated station classification. You're now officially listed as Class 7 Biological Asset, Extreme Caution Required." "That sounds bad," Emma said. "It's actually an upgrade from Walking Catastrophe Waiting to Happen," Vexithol admitted, which was the provisional classification the Council wanted to use. "I've also brought updated information from Earth," he continued, pulling up a holographic display. "Apparently, your species has something called professional athletes." "Oh yeah, they're great," Emma said enthusiastically. "Super inspiring. They can perform physical feats approximately twice what you've demonstrated here." The training area went silent. "Twice?" Azila said weakly. "And your military personnel undergo something called combat training that enhances these capabilities further." "My brother," Emma said proudly. "He's a Marine. Really tough guy." "The Galactic Council has issued a formal request," Vexithol said, "that Earth consider not sending any military personnel off-world for the foreseeable future. They're concerned it might be interpreted as an act of war." "That's probably fair," Emma conceded. Khor'vax approached, his 4 arms moving in what Emma had learned was a Drenthol greeting of respect. "Emma Johnson, I have news. The Drenthol Warrior Council has issued a decree. All warriors will be taught about humans in their training. You are to be used as an example of strength in restraint." "That's actually really sweet," Emma said, genuinely touched. "We call you the Merciful Destroyer," Khor'vax added. "Okay, that's less sweet." A proximity alarm chimed. Azila checked her scanner, then looked at Emma with trepidation. "Emma, your mother's shuttle just docked. She's requesting directions to the station gym." Emma brightened. "Oh, good. She wanted to see where I work. She does yoga. It's really relaxing." Vexithol was already pulling up emergency protocols. "Azila, Initiate code yellow, notify medical staff, reinforce the gym level, and someone find out what yoga is and whether it's dangerous. Commander, really? Emma protested. She's just going to do some stretches and your mother is from a death world where she performs recreational physical activities that her biology considers insufficient exercise, Vexthul interrupted. Forgive me if I want to take precautions. Emma sighed, pulling out her comm unit to message her mom. I'm just going to tell her to maybe take it easy on the advanced poses. Advanced poses? Azila asked with dread. Yeah, you know, like headstands and... Headstands? Khor'vax interrupted. You support your full body weight on your head, by choice? For balance and core strength, yeah. The training area erupted in panic as 3 different species immediately left to update their safety protocols. Emma watched them go, shaking her head. I can't believe they think Earth is a death world. We have such good coffee. From his command station, Vexthul made a note to add coffee to the list of things requiring further investigation. If it provided fuel for these biological weapons, it probably violated several chemical warfare treaties. Above them, Emma's mother was asking station personnel where she could find a good place to stretch. Vexthul updated his log. Day 23 of human integration. Situation, ongoing. Survival status, uncertain. Emma finished her shift, waved cheerfully to the still nervous station personnel, and headed toward the gym level. Behind her, Khor'vax turned to Vexthul. Commander, I have a question. If this is what their civilians are like, what do you think their soldiers are capable of? Vexthul's chromatic display went pale. I pray to the gods we never find out. In the distance, they heard Emma's mother cheerfully ask someone if they wanted to join her for a light workout session. The sound of 40 different species declining simultaneously echoed through the station. It was, Vexthul reflected, going to be a very long century of human integration, but at least the coffee was good.